I grew up in a small fishing village called Filey in the East Riding of Yorkshire. Small fishing village, about 2,000 people. Came from a family that went sea, North Sea. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, all were fishermen. If you didn't fish and you didn't sort of come ashore and sell those fish, you didn't eat. We lived in cottages, growing up. So I came up with a very, very true sense of family. Was brought up in a very, very meaningful way by very rugged men, and my grandfather was one of my true heroes. He was the guy who sort of educated me about sort of life, the sea, the ocean, its meaningfulness around, how you can make a living from it, but yet you had to respect it. Storms would come up at Filey, lifeboats would go out, families would be either saved or lost. I was brought up in that type of an environment, so the respect for working hard when you could, the respect for nature, and the oceans were very, very front and center in my grandfather's life, and he was the one who really educated me and became a great hero of mine. He was also the person who told me to get out of that environment and go seek a different type of life, that you could be bigger and better than what life would sort of give you here. Here am I, a CEO of Minnesota United, 3,000 miles away from that environment, and to a degree it was my grandfather who encouraged me, urged me to look for a life outside of Filey. I found my way into the game, the beautiful game, soccer, was really what got me out of the environment that I was being brought up in. I was a reasonably talented goalkeeper. I was spotted by a team called Hull City. I was recruited by them. I was there for about 3 years until, I got injured. I ruptured a kidney as a goalkeeper, went up for a cross, came down on my left elbow, centre forward landed on top of me, ruptured a kidney, and although I tried to get back into the playing side of the game, I could never do it. I sort of lost my confidence and decided though that the game was part of me, and I needed to find a way to stay in the game, and so I did all of my coaching qualifications. And by the age of 21, I had what was then the highest level of coaching qualification you could get in England, called the full badge. I coached with the English Football Association for a while, did a lot of coaching courses with them. So I was doing a lot of camps and clinics all over the United States. One of the cities that I frequented often was Pittsburgh, and got to know a lot of people inside of the soccer circles in Pittsburgh, and ultimately got offered the opportunity to become the general manager of the Pittsburgh Spirit in the MISL. Edward J. DeBartolo was the owner. He owned the San Francisco 49ers, he owned the Pittsburgh Penguins. He hired me to put a team together when he acquired a team inside of the MISL. At that point, at that young age, I had no background in ticket sales, PR, CR, corporate sales, broadcast agreements. But this man gave me an opportunity. I wouldn't be where I am today if he had never presented me with that opportunity. And I think every person in their life has a moment where somebody sees something in them that maybe you don't even see in yourself. And DeBartolo saw something in me, presented me with an opportunity, and I could have easily said no. And I think that my life and my career and my professional journey would have been completely different if I had said no to that opportunity. This is really where I want to be. This is really where I want to live. This is really where, my kids are being brought up, and we're going to stay here. We're going to plant our roots. This is our home. This sport is really coming. This sport is the sport of the future. There are two sports that are growing in this country right now. Soccer is one of them, basketball is the other. At this stage of my career, to be able to do what I'm doing today and give back to the game and give back to the ownership group and give back to this market, my wife tells me all of the time, how ironic that soccer is in Minnesota, building a stadium, building a team, building a business, everything that you've done in your career in this marketplace, for the last 33, 34 years, is happening right now here, and you are here. How ironic that all of this is happening at this time in your career and that you can do this.